suggests that Ubisoft is keen to bring back Splinter Cell in some form. There's also no news yet on which studios are working on it, though VGC reports that the new game is being led by a studio outside of Ubisoft's traditional Montreal base. It is also reportedly in an early phase of production, so do not count on knowing more about it anytime soon. Samsung is expected to soon announce what could be the biggest upgrade of its Exynos chips in years. The partnership it started with AMD a few years back is anticipated to level up the silicon graphics game, utilizing AMD's RDNA technology for the benefit of mobile users. There has been some uncertainty, however, about which devices will be betting this Exynos 2200, especially after the ongoing chip shortage. The latest word gives a small amount of relief to would-be Galaxy S22 buyers, but the actual availability of this chip might still be in question. Given recent controversies surrounding Samsung Exynos Silicon, the arrival of the AMD-powered Exynos 2200 is naturally hoped to bring some much-needed salvation for the business. Early benchmarks look promising, at least under certain contexts and conditions, and the entry of graphics technology from AMD could spark a new era of competition among mobile chipset makers. Whether the Exynos 2200 lives up to the expectation is, of course, a completely different question, but many are waiting with bated breath for what's coming. Unfortunately, present economic conditions might put a damper on that enthusiasm. Initially, there were doubts that Samsung would even put the Exynos 2200 inside its next smartphone flagship, reserving it for the tablets or an ARM-powered Windows laptop. Eventually, rumors evolved to expect limited availability of Exynos-powered Galaxy S22 phones, probably exclusive to the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Android Police's Max Weinbach, however, gives a bit more hope by confirming that it will be available for all variants of the phone. The Galaxy S22, Galaxy S22 Plus or Pro, and Galaxy S22 Ultra will get both Exynos 2200 and Snapdragon 898 versions, which of course still depend on the market. Unfortunately, that latter might mean that those in the US won't be seeing the graphics upgrade that the Exynos 2200 will promise. Buyers in the US have only been able to get Snapdragon-powered devices from Samsung, while European markets once had to contend with weaker Exynos chips only. It seems that the tables will be turned and those in the US will feel shortchanged when the Galaxy S22 arrives. Back in July, Twitter announced plans to pilot a new change that would allow users to devote tweet replies. At the time, Twitter said it was only testing the feature on iOS, but that seems to be changing now as Twitter is reportedly planning to expand the feature to more users. According to prolific reverse engineer Jane Manchung Wong, Twitter is working on expanding the downvote button to the web. The change hasn't rolled out widely and seems to be limited to selected users. The downvote button only appears on replies and not on the tweet itself. It appears just beside the like button, as you can see in the screenshots attached. As Twitter previously detailed, downvotes aren't public and remain visible only to you. Twitter also maintains that the downvote button isn't a dislike button and that votes won't change the order of replies. Twitter hasn't officially announced when it plans to roll out the downvote button to everyone. As of now, the test remains limited to iOS and the web version of Twitter. Aside from the downvote button, Twitter is also experimenting with a new ad format. The company recently announced that it would soon start displaying ads between tweet replies to some users. Twitter is also testing a new change that can make it easier for users to discover more spaces. Another feature that Twitter is internally working on is voice transforming that will reportedly allow speakers to add various effects, be it cartoon, helium, incognito, karaoke, etc., to their voices in live spaces.
Okay, so those were our tech headlines for today. Today I'm going to enter a fantastic conversation with a fantastic personality that I have with me here in the studio. I have Mr. Robert Okine, who is the CEO of Buses. I always try not to get this wrong, so I prefer the longer version of the company name. So I just want you to introduce yourself and then just tell us a bit about yourself. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
My name is Robert Okine. I'm the CEO of Better World Systems, shortened as Buses.
Okay.
And what do? We are an IT company based in Ghana. developing digital solutions that are changing lives across the world. We do so by working with inspired people, young people from our universities that have the passion to cause change in whichever way. We've been able to do this in several countries in Africa, Southeast Asia, Middle East, and the Pacific regions. And these are all digital solutions that are making the world a better place.
Do you particularly focus on younger people? Like, is there sort of an age limit, or like, is it for everybody, no matter the age? Because I picked that from the introduction that you partner with universities, and so is that the sole aim? Is that the main goal for Better World Systems?
Yeah, so we work with everyone. However, we understand there are employment challenges in every economy across the world. So what we do is we give entry-level university graduates opportunity to be able to make a case for themselves. So we have training programs that empower young graduates who are really willing to develop their career to join us. So it cut across, but averagely the age that we have is 27.
27,
and
is that the cutoff point?
No, it's not actually a cutoff point. I'm far older than that. We have other people who are far older than me working in the company, and the diversity helps in what we do because we are providing solutions for everyone. So whether you are a baby, whether you are an old person, we need to have that diversity at the workplace. One thing we do quite well is encouraging gender equality. So you agree with me, it's a tech company, and our system see tech to be male-dominated space. What we do is we encourage more women to be part of us, and so far so good. We have 60% women in the company, 40% of them are in the technical role, and if you look at the world statistics when it comes to gender equality in the tech company, we are far ahead. Worldwide, you have about 24% of women in tech, and we think they are doing very well, and we need to encourage other tech companies to do so.
So in doing my little research about you before you came, there's something I picked that really stood out for me. I think we were having this conversation before we came in, how important digital innovation and inclusion is when it comes to agriculture, because a lot of young people, we just want to finish school, go sit in some office, and I think we also have the wrong idea about agriculture. I think we just think it's the farming, but I know how important digital we live in a digital world anyway, and I know how important it has become in some of these things. And I want us to touch on that a bit, how the role that you play as Better World Systems in something like agriculture.
So I think we live in a world where 71% of the world's population are living in countries with consistently growing inequality. And you look at this and you see technology as a tool that can bridge that inequality gap. This cuts across any industry. Sustainable development goals simply means we are leaving no one behind. Whether you are born in Europe or you are born in Africa, you have the opportunity to make something better out of your life. So when we look at agri, it's a whole value chain. You have different stakeholders. You have farmers in there, you have distributors in there, input suppliers, you have, at the end of the day, we all eat food. So we are all in there in the value chain. What it does is there's a lot of opportunity for all of us. So if there's shortage of food, for me, it's an opportunity for a young man to find out why there's shortage of food, meaning we don't have the right information. So either we are not collecting the right information to analyze the information that we are collecting so that we can make an effective decision on those information. So for us, that's where we come in. We develop digital solutions, management information systems that help you analyze and make an informed decision. So it goes to government, it goes to young men who will be able to understand the data out there and realize, okay, if I go into maybe snail farming, I could create a niche and probably be able to export this and make more money. Yeah, so there are a lot of opportunities.
How has the response been like to this particular, when it comes to the agriculture management systems, information management? How's the response been, even from both from the public and private sectors?
Yeah.
How has the response been like so far?
Yeah, so there's adoption. So government is championing this adoption. We have a project all the way in Palestine, where the government of Palestine, with support from UNDP, are providing digital tools in a mobile form, where farmers will be able to know the weather, the right time to plant, what they need to plant, and the right time to harvest. If there are any challenge, any information that they need, they are able to get it readily on their phone. So it's catching up, but it's quite slow. We need young men like yourself, because you could be in any industry and still be a farmer by investing into agri.
Yeah. So I wanted to touch a bit on the educational part, because that also got my attention. So with educational, is it like providing educational materials to schools, or just trying to support their IT departments, or how? Let's just put the spotlight a bit on that. Yeah. So when it comes to Better World Systems, the role you play in educational information management systems.
Yeah. So it cuts across the whole operation of the educational system, from the regulators being able to know whether the universities or the higher educational institutions are doing what is expected of them in their curriculum, and to the universities being able to know the number of students that they have, being able to keep records of the students' exams and transcripts, being able to request for those information readily, and admissions, being able to build a system that helps in the admission process, so that it can reduce the number of whom you know in those systems. Yeah, then you move to learning, the learning tools, from e-learning all the way to lifelong learning. So you have institutions like the Nursing Training College, where they